So for this drill, we want to set up with, and again, as always, change these measurements if you don't think they're right, that's fine. But as a guide, I would do the centre square as a 10 by 10 and the outer square as a 20 by 20. Very, very rough measurements, but have a look at what that looks like to you and with the ability of your players as well and the areas that they can play in comfortably to achieve the objective. I've got 4 mini goals, so a mini goal on each corner. You could easily just use poles or cones for that as well. And in terms of personnel, we're going to start with a 5v3 Rondo in the middle square. And that's where the ball will start when the drill starts. And then there will be 4 additional players on the outside. So there'll be 5 blues versus 3 whites in the middle to start. And then there'll be an extra 4 whites on in the bigger square that will transition into the game once we've kicked off. So in terms of instructions, how do we carry out the drill? So before we do that, the objective is that we're working on transitions, and we're working from our transitions from both defence to attack and attack to defence. Games are won and lost in transition, and what I mean by transition is those moments where the ball turns over and one team loses the ball and one team gets the ball. So the transition from having it to in possession to then being out of possession. And the reasons those moments are so important is that when we lose the ball and another team gains it, there's a slight shift in momentum there. So the team losing the ball could all of a sudden get frustrated, not run an extra yard to recover quickly, be caught up in the action of losing the ball. Whereas the team that are winning the ball are very positive at that point. They're aggressive, they're on top. So our actions and our reactions to losing the ball and winning the ball are really, really important, because if somebody gets caught, if someone's lazy at those moments, then that's when goals are scored, in those transitionary possession to out of possession moments. But in really, really easy language, what we're working on here is when you lose the ball, like how quickly do you react to having it again? We're also working on how we maintain possession in tight areas. So this will be a challenge because not only is it a tighter area, but there's a lot of players within that area as well. So things like our weight of pass, our direction of pass, our communication are all really important in these smaller areas, our scanning and our communication. And finally, look, this is just loads of fun. It's just a really, really fun drill. I don't know if you've done it before. If you haven't done it before, definitely give it a try. Players love this. It's fast. There's a lot of tempo. There's a lot of touches of the ball. So, and it gets a lot of objectives across as well. So players will really, really enjoy this. So instructions then. So the game always starts in the middle square, which is a 10 by 10 in this instance. And that will be a 5v3 Rondo. So the blues will start with the ball in this example. So 5 blues versus 3 whites. And the 5 blues, as you'll see in a second, will start with the ball. So the 5 blues here are starting with the ball. They're trying to maintain possession, keep the ball, and then the game evolves when the whites win the ball, which they'll do in a second. So the blues are maintaining possession. We're playing in a tight area. This is really tough because it's a tight space. Now the whites will come and win the ball. So as soon as they win the ball, now we're playing in the bigger area, which is a 20 by 20. And now we've got a 7v5 Rondo in the opposite way. So the blue team have gone from being in possession to now transitioning to being out of possession. They've got to react. It's a different mindset entirely. And then when they win the ball here, there's a further transition. They've won the ball. They're then looking to go on and score. So there's 2 transitions there the Blues have gone through. We've had the ball. We've lost it. We've won the ball back. And though that cycle and thought process is really, really important in a game of football. And like I say, can make the difference in scoreline at the end of the game. So just to run through those instructions again. So it starts with a 5v3 Rondo in the middle, as you can see again now. The game evolves when the 3 whites win the ball, which they've just done. It then moves into the bigger square, where it will be a 7v5 Rondo again. We're trying to maintain possession. The purpose of the white team is to keep possession in a tight area with lots and lots of bodies in there. If the defending 5 win the ball, which they do now, they've transitioned again, they're going to try and score a goal. If they score a goal in the mini goal, they get 5 points for that. If they just won the ball and kicked it out of play, that would be 1 point. So that's how the Blues score. The Blues score by when it evolves into the bigger game. If they knock it out of play, they get a point. If they win the ball cleanly and score in one of the goals, they get 5 points. So we're rewarding them from transitioning from having the ball to losing the ball to winning the ball back and then going on and scoring. That's the reward. And the white team will score a point if they make 5 passes. So we're rewarding those guys for keeping possession against what will be quite a heavy press. So please note there, look, the reward is in line with our session objectives. So just as a reminder, our objectives are working on the transitions, both from attack to defence and defence to attack. And we see that throughout, and we are rewarding that by the 5 points that's scored at the end. We're rewarding maintaining possession in tight areas, so the white team here get points for maintaining possession. So we're rewarding all the key objectives there. We are rewarding in the session to try and get the session objective to play out. What I would do is probably just rotate the teams after about 15 minutes, just to make sure that the players that haven't experienced the 5 in the middle, so the initial in possession team, then rotate the players around so everybody gets the same out of the session and gets the maximum amount of output out of the session as possible. So coaching points. Before we get into the coaching points, actually, please, just a final reminder, please like and subscribe. It's really important we get as many subscribers as possible and that we get as many likes and comments as possible. So if you love the channel, please do that and put on your notifications to make sure you never miss another video. Thank you. So coaching points, listen up, this is a transition objective. So we're probably working on mentality a little bit here as well. So we want to see what our players' response to the next action is. And a sign of a really, really elite good player is that they can get on to the next action without worrying about the last action. So a good example of that would be a striker, an elite level striker who misses an open goal and all they care about is the next chance. They're not sitting in the sadness of that. They're not feeling sorry for themselves. They're just pressing the opposition again. They're trying to get the next thing correct and they're concentrating on winning the ball back for their teammates. So we are looking to focus on mentality here of, you've just lost the ball. What happens next? Your instant reaction to that shouldn't be about moaning, complaining, blaming somebody else. It should be, I've just lost the ball. How do I get it back as quickly as possible? And those questions that arise through that of what does my body shape need to be? What does my speed of approach need to be? What does my communication need to be like with my teammates? So all of those questions start to play out. And it's not, oh my God, I've just lost the ball. It's, right, the ball's lost. What do we do next? Who do I need for that? And how do we go about it? When we do get into the bigger square, obviously there's high reward for winning the ball back cleanly and scoring a goal. So the reason that is because we want to reward our players that have lost the ball. They've then gone on and won it back. Brilliant. And we want to change your mindset from winning the ball back to then actually how do we go on and score a goal? So the highest reward is for scoring a goal as the underloaded team, the Blues here. So we want to coach, what's our body shape like out of possession? So are we forcing people towards those goals so we can win the balls in the right areas? Because we are underloaded, remember. Are we communicating effectively to our teammates to set traps? So this is a pressing drill as well. There's pressing elements to this. There's out of possession fundamentals to this as well. Are we pressing on a bad touch, a ball going in the wrong direction, etc.? And are we pressing as a group as well, not just going in singular players, which will get picked off by the in-possession team? And we just touched on the fundamentals there. So like land the points that when you are out of possession, you want to be compact as possible and working together. And when you're in possession, you want to be as big as possible. So the whites in the big square want to be really, really big, making use of the space, scanning as much as possible to make the best use of the space and to make sure that feels really big for the underloaded team. And then just a final point on scanning there. So people tend to think of scanning as an in-possession strategy, but it's very, very important for when you haven't got the ball as well. Out-of-possession scanning is what's going to enable you to get the ball back quickly because you're going to be able to work together better, your communication is going to be clearer, and you're going to be setting traps more effectively. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. That is the Breakout Rondo. It's a transition game, but there's lots and lots of There's lots of things that you can coach within that drill as well. The fundamentals of both being compact and big in possession and out of possession. Drop us a like and a follow. Thank you.